Hello and welcome to the Comprehensive System of Personnel Development Family Overview. My name is Chantel Curtis. I'm the Professional Development Coordinator for the Arizona Early Intervention Program. Today I'll be discussing the purpose of the Comprehensive System of Personnel Development, or CSPD, and how this applies to families of young children with disabilities. We are grateful for your interest in the CSPD work. Stakeholders are an important part of the CSPD process. These are the people with vested interest in the quality and success of the system and could include early childhood staff, schools, healthcare providers, colleges and universities, administrators, and parents, just to name a few. There are different subcomponent groups, and each subcomponent develops an action plan to lead their work, meaning that they develop goals and measures for success in order to evaluate the system. Parent input in each work group is crucial for us to be sure that our professionals and systems are supportive of families. We want to get this right. A CSPD is a framework to increase the number of qualified providers in the early childhood intervention field, as well as improve how they are able to support infants and young children with disabilities and their families. Arizona is participating in intensive technical assistance with the Early Childhood Personnel Center, or ECPC, a national center which has developed an evidence-based framework for developing an effective state CSPD. Part of this framework includes breaking the CSPD down into 6 work groups to address the challenges of the early childhood workforce. Leadership focuses on structures for ongoing support for all personnel development activities. Recruitment and retention focuses on strategies to identify, hire, and maintain a qualified workforce across sectors and disciplines. Personnel standards focuses on discipline-specific knowledge, skills, and competencies for the early childhood workforce. Pre-service training focuses on formal programs of study at colleges and universities that prepare students for the early childhood workforce. In-service training focuses on ongoing learning activities to maintain and build competence of the early childhood workforce, and evaluation plans for evaluating each subcomponent of CSPD for effectiveness, as well as the CSPD as a whole. We'll go over each of the work groups in a moment, and for more information on the ECPC framework, please visit ecpcta.org. With that in mind, Arizona's vision for the CSPD is to have an equitable and accessible early childhood professional development system informed by evidence-based practices that strengthens all Arizona children and their families. Our mission is to collaborate across disciplines and agencies to ensure we build a consistent system for developing our personnel. Why do we need the CSPD? Having highly qualified and knowledgeable personnel will lead to better outcomes for children and families, as they will have the needed skills to provide quality services and supports. An effective system also helps us to improve our best practices by keeping up with the latest standards and recommendations and putting them into practice. Having a comprehensive system helps to keep supports consistent as families move throughout the early childhood system, such as from early intervention to preschool or Head Start. When states have a high-quality CSPD, more early childhood leaders and practitioners have the necessary knowledge and skills, which improves the effectiveness of early intervention, early childhood special education, and early childhood services and supports, which leads to improved outcomes for children and families. So let's take a closer look at our 6 work groups. The overall coordination of the CSPD is overseen by Leadership, Coordination, and Sustainability Work Group, otherwise known as Leadership. This group sets the priorities for the overall CSPD and makes decisions regarding policy, funding, and the regulation of the system. Why is parent participation important in leadership? Families need to have the information and the buy-in to help shape the system. Families knowing what to expect from programs that serve children is very helpful. Being informed is being empowered, and parent perspective on overall goals helps us make sure that we are working in the right direction. Recruitment and retention works to both hire new early childhood practitioners and retain current practitioners, also focusing on filling vacancies and maintaining qualified personnel. This is important for families because finding high-quality providers reduces turnover and prevents families from having to tell their story over and over. Consistency and relationship building, where they don't have to constantly build rapport with someone new. Personnel standards focuses on ensuring that practitioners are adhering to state and national professional standards, as well as discipline-specific knowledge and skills for those working in the early childhood workforce. Why is this important? Families should know that there are high expectations for those working with their children. Providing parent perspective on what these standards and expectations may look like when working with families and children helps practitioners to know what to expect as well. Pre-service looks at programs within higher education to ensure that they are preparing individuals adequately to work in the field of early childhood. Families will find this important because families should feel confident that those trained in various disciplines are getting the information they need to be successful in working in early intervention or early childhood special education. Providing the family perspective for those being trained to work with young children is helpful for families and providers. The focus of in-service is ongoing learning activities which apply to those already in the early childhood field in order to build the competence of the early childhood workforce. Why is this important? Families will know that providers are knowledgeable and can support their child. Families should not have to train their providers. Providers should have a basic understanding of best practices, typical and atypical development, and how to interact with families to have the best outcomes, and families should feel confident that they have this knowledge. Evaluation determines the effectiveness of the whole CSPD, including evaluating each work group, ensuring groups are moving forward with their action plans and accomplishing what they set out to do. Why is this important for families? If we don't measure the effectiveness of our system, we don't know if it's having the intended outcome. By continually evaluating the goals we have for early childhood workforce, it in turn supports families and the children we serve. We need family perspective in all areas to ensure that we are hearing experiences and getting it right when we make system improvements. By providing parents the opportunity to join CSPD, they can add their perspective and valuable insight to each of these work groups. Parent input is vital when creating goals to improve our early childhood workforce. Families are personally receiving these services and supports and along with their children, and it's best practice for us to have their input in CSPD. In order to move forward, we need families on these committees to ensure our workforce continues to grow and thrive. We're constantly working to improve our work and the CSPD as a whole. We're always looking for parents of children who have been involved in early intervention or early childhood special education, as well as professionals and partners in the early childhood field to join our efforts. Please contact the CSPD team if you are interested in participating or would like more information. Thank you for your time and consideration.